The morning light filters through the curtains, but it's not the sun that wakes Alex, it's the sharp, relentless buzz of notifications. Eyes barely open, they reach for their phone, swiping through a cascade of emails, social media alerts, and app reminders. It's a routine so ingrained that Alex doesn't even realize an hour has passed, scrolling through updates that leave them feeling more disconnected than ever. The world outside their screen feels muted. Conversations with friends are interrupted by the pull of group chats, and tasks at work are endlessly delayed by the hypnotic lure of trending topics. Alex's once clear ambitions now feel buried under a mountain of digital clutter. A hollow exhaustion settles in a life dictated by endless connectivity, yet devoid of genuine connection. One evening, as they collapse onto the couch, phone in hand, a strange notification appears. It isn't from any app Alex recognizes. The text reads, "If you don't disconnect, you'll lose more than time." The words send a chill down Alex's spine. They blink, unsure if it's a prank or a glitch. Before they can screenshot it, the message vanishes. Alex checks their app list and notification history, but there's no trace of it. Panic gives way to curiosity. Who sent this? How did it bypass their phone's security? And, most importantly, what does it mean? Alex glances at their phone again, a device that now feels more like a prison than a tool. For the first time, they wonder if their reliance on technology might be costing them more than just their time. Cliffhanger. Alex resolves to investigate the mysterious message, but doesn't yet realize this will be the first crack in the digital cage that has trapped them for years. Alex couldn't shake the cryptic message from their mind. The words asterisk "if you don't disconnect, you'll lose more than time." Asterisk felt like a warning, but also a challenge. For days, they oscillated between curiosity and dismissal, convincing themselves it was just a glitch, but deep down, Alex knew better. Sitting at their desk, surrounded by a forest of open tabs and half-formed tasks, Alex felt a rare spark of determination. Maybe, just maybe, it was time to take a step back. They started small, deleting a few unused apps, turning off push notifications, and setting timers for social media. It was liberating, yet terrifying, like walking a tightrope without a net. The first day without constant alerts was eerily quiet. Alex found themselves reflexively reaching for their phone, only to be met with silence. At first, it felt like losing a lifeline, but as the hours stretched on, the quiet morphed into something else: space. It was in this newfound space that Alex noticed an old email buried in their inbox. The sender's name made their heart skip: a long-lost friend, Maya, who had vanished from their life years ago. The subject line was simple: "Do you still remember?" Clicking on it felt like opening Pandora's box. The email contained a single line of text: "We need to talk. Call me when you're ready," followed by a phone number. No pleasantries, no explanation, just urgency. Curiosity outweighed hesitation, and Alex dialed the number. Maya picked up almost instantly, her voice both familiar and distant. "You've finally started to see it, haven't you?" she said, cryptically. "See what?" Alex asked, baffled. "The way it controls you, the way it controls all of us," Maya replied. Her words were tinged with both anger and sadness. "I tried to warn you back then, but you didn't listen. I'll give you another chance, but you'll have to figure out the rest on your own." Before Alex could respond, the line went dead. That night, Alex lay awake, replaying Maya's words. What had she meant by back then? What was she trying to warn them about? And why now, after all these years? Twist: unbeknownst to Alex, Maya's reappearance is no coincidence. Her cryptic warnings are tied to Alex's decision to embrace digital minimalism, but her motives are far from clear. Alex couldn't stop thinking about Maya's call. Her voice lingered, pulling at threads of memories that refused to fully unravel. "I tried to warn you back then." The words haunted Alex as they scrolled through their phone, searching for anything that could bridge the gap between Maya's cryptic warnings and their own forgotten past. In their quest for answers, Alex decided to clean up their cloud storage, a digital graveyard of forgotten files and neglected folders. The process was cathartic at first, like shedding an old skin. Old photos, outdated resumes, and meaningless screenshots were tossed aside. Then, they found it, a folder buried deep within a labyrinth of subdirectories. Its name was unassuming: archive_01, but the files inside were anything but ordinary. Photos of people Alex didn't recognize, meeting notes with vague but ominous titles like Phase 3 Contingency, and a series of cryptic messages exchanged with someone identified only as R. As Alex opened each file, flashes of memories began to surface. Faces, voices, and snippets of conversations long buried under years of digital clutter. One photo stopped Alex cold. It was of them, standing next to Maya and a group of others, in what looked like a high-tech lab. They were all smiling, but Alex couldn't remember the context or the people. The deeper Alex dug, the stranger it got. A video file titled Final Transmission showed a younger version of themselves sitting at a desk, speaking directly into the camera. If you're watching this, their recorded self began, it means you've forgotten. And if you've forgotten, it's because you chose to. But now that you've found this, it's time to remember. The video ended abruptly, leaving Alex reeling. They scrambled to call Maya, but the number she had given was now out of service. Frustrated and unnerved, Alex replayed the video. Searching for clues, what had they forgotten? And why had they chosen to forget it? Cliffhanger. Among the files was a single document titled Directive Alpha, Do Not Open. Alex hovered over it, their heart pounding. The discovery of the mysterious files sent Alex spiraling into a mix of obsession and paranoia. Every interaction felt laden with unspoken tension, every glance from friends or family carrying an undertone they couldn't quite place. They needed answers, but as they delved deeper into the files, their relationships began to fray. It started subtly. Alex skipped a dinner with their best friend, Lena, choosing instead to pore over the encrypted messages and fragmented memories tied to R and the shadowy project. When Lena called to check in, Alex brushed her off with a vague excuse. "Alex, you've been distant lately," Lena said, her tone sharp with concern. "Is something going on?" "No, I'm just busy," Alex replied, knowing full well the lie was paper-thin, but Lena wasn't the only one noticing. At work, Alex's boss had begun commenting on their distracted demeanor. Deadlines were slipping, and colleagues exchanged worried glances during meetings. At home, Alex's sibling, James, confronted them directly. "You're hiding something," James said one evening, their voice laced with frustration. "You've barely said a word all week, and when you do, it's like you're in another world." "What's going on?" Alex hesitated, torn between confiding and retreating. "I just need space, okay?" "It's nothing," but James wasn't convinced. Later that night, Alex caught them glancing at their open laptop screen. The folder labeled Directive Alpha was still minimized in the corner. "What's this?" James asked, their voice edged with suspicion. "Nothing," Alex snapped, slamming the laptop shut. "Don't pry." The confrontation left a lingering tension that Alex couldn't shake. But the real blow came days later when Lena confronted them during a rare coffee meetup. "You're hiding something from me," Lena said, her voice trembling with both hurt and anger. "You've been acting so weird, and I know it's not just work stress." "What's going on, Alex?" Alex froze. Before they could answer, Lena dropped the bombshell. "I know you've been looking into something big. I've seen your search history, your files. You're not as careful as you think." The admission stunned Alex. "You've been spying on me." Lena's face hardened. "I'm worried about you. You're spiraling, and you won't let anyone in." Twist. Lena's intrusion wasn't just concern, it hinted at a deeper reason for her prying. Was she genuinely worried, or was there something she wasn't telling Alex? Cliffhanger. As Alex stormed out, their phone buzzed with another cryptic notification. "Trust no one. Not even your closest allies." The chaos of Alex's personal life began spilling into their professional world. What was once a promising career now felt like a house of cards teetering on collapse. Deadlines came and went, emails piled up unanswered, and Alex's reputation as a reliable team player began to erode. At the center of it all was the upcoming pitch, a high-stakes opportunity that could make or break their future. For weeks, Alex had been working on the project, but their recent distractions had left it incomplete. Still, they clung to the belief they could pull it together at the last moment. The morning of the pitch arrived, and Alex realized, to their horror, that they'd missed the team briefing. Their calendar notifications, turned off in their quest for digital minimalism, failed to alert them to the rescheduled time. By the time Alex rushed into the conference room, it was too late. Their colleague and longtime rival, Naomi, was already presenting the pitch Alex's pitch. The slides, the data, even the language, they were all Alex's work. But Naomi delivered it with poise, earning nods of approval from the executives. Rage and disbelief bubbled within Alex as the presentation ended to a round of applause. Naomi's eyes flicked to Alex with a triumphant glint, as if daring them to speak up. After the meeting, Alex confronted her in the hallway. "You stole my work," Naomi shrugged, her smile razor sharp. "You weren't there. Someone had to step up. Besides, it's not like you've been pulling your weight lately." Alex clenched their fists. "This isn't just about the pitch, is it? You've had it out for me for months." Naomi leaned in, her voice low. "Months, try years. You don't even remember, do you? All that time working on that project, and you left the rest of us to clean up the mess. You think you can just walk away from that without consequences?" Alex's breath caught. This wasn't just about the pitch or petty office rivalry. Naomi's grudge was tied to the same shadowy past Alex had been unraveling. Back at their desk, Alex stared at their laptop, the folder labeled Directive Alpha still unopened. Naomi's words echoed in their mind. "You don't even remember." Cliffhanger. Alex receives an email from an unknown sender. The subject line reads, "She's not your only enemy." Alex's focus had become razor sharp. Naomi's accusations and the cryptic files weighed heavily, and it was clear that the past Alex had been trying to uncover was more dangerous than they realized. Determined to piece together the truth, Alex plunged deeper into their digital cleanup, sorting through terabytes of old data in search of answers. But obsession often leads to recklessness. Late one night, bleary-eyed from hours of sifting through files, Alex accidentally selected an entire directory and hit delete. The realization came too late. The folder was gone. Panic set in as Alex scrambled to recover it. Within that folder were files tied not only to their career, but to the mysterious project at the heart of everything. Their laptop became a battlefield. Recovery tools churned, but the process was slow, each minute feeling like an eternity. Fragments of files began to reappear, but one key document was corrupted beyond recognition, a spreadsheet labeled Impact Analysis. As Alex stared at the garbled text, their phone buzzed with a message from Maya. The words were chilling. "I told you to tread carefully." That file wasn't just data, it was evidence. Alex's stomach dropped. Evidence of what? And how had Maya known about the deleted folder? With no time to waste, Alex reached out to a tech-savvy acquaintance, Ravi, a former hacker turned cybersecurity consultant. Ravi was skeptical at first, but the promise of a puzzle too tempting to resist finally swayed him. "This isn't just file recovery," Ravi muttered as he worked. His fingers danced across the keyboard, lines of code and encryption protocols flashing on the screen. "This is industrial-grade protection. What exactly were you working on, Alex?" "I don't know," Alex admitted, their voice trembling. "That's what I'm trying to figure out." Hours later, Ravi managed to retrieve a fragment of the spreadsheet. What he uncovered made Alex's blood run cold. The data pointed to an experimental project, something involving mass behavior analysis and predictive algorithms. A buried scandal began to take shape, though the details were still frustratingly incomplete. "This isn't just messy," Ravi said, his tone grave. "It's dangerous. Whatever this is, people have gone to great lengths to keep it buried. Be careful, Alex." Twist. As Alex delved further into the recovered files, they found an entry with their name listed among the project leads. It wasn't just a scandal, they were implicated in it. Cliffhanger. The last recovered file contained a warning. "Proceeding further will cost you everything." Alex sat at their desk, staring at the screen, the fragmented files glaring back, like a broken mirror reflecting a past they barely recognized. The spreadsheet, the cryptic messages, the mounting accusations, everything pointed to a version of Alex they didn't want to confront. But Ravi's warning echoed in their mind. "Be careful, Alex." Sleep-deprived and emotionally drained, Alex sought refuge in a walk through the park. The crisp air and distant hum of the city offered a brief reprieve from the suffocating weight of the unfolding mystery. That was when they got the call. It was James. "We need to talk," he said, his voice heavy with something Alex couldn't place. "Can you come over?" When Alex arrived, James was waiting with a small box. Inside was a worn journal, its cover faded and corners frayed. "This was Mom's," James said, passing it over. "I found it in the attic last week. I wasn't sure if I should show you, but I think you need to see it." Confused but intrigued, Alex opened the journal. It wasn't what they expected. The pages were filled with cryptic notes, sketches of circuits, and what looked like encryption codes. One phrase repeated throughout: "Trust the process, but not the people." "Mom was working on something before she passed," James explained. "She was obsessed with this idea that technology wasn't just a tool, it was a trap. She talked about how it could manipulate people, control them without their knowledge. At the time, I thought it was just paranoia. But now, seeing you like this, it feels connected." As Alex flipped through the journal, a memory surfaced, faint but unmistakable. Their mother sitting at her desk, late into the night, muttering about algorithms and ethics. Alex had dismissed it as the ramblings of a workaholic. One page in the journal caught Alex's attention. It contained a cipher, partially decoded, with the words, "They'll use you, Alex, protect yourself." Stunned, Alex looked up at James. "Did Mom know about the project I worked on?" "Did she try to warn me?" James hesitated. "I don't know. But if she did, maybe that's why you forgot. Maybe you didn't want to remember." The weight of his words hit Alex like a tidal wave. Had they willingly erased parts of their past? And if so, what was so damning that they'd felt the need to forget? Twist. Embedded in the journal was a series of coordinates, locations that seemed to align with the files Alex had uncovered. It was a breadcrumb trail, but to what end? Cliffhanger. As Alex prepared to investigate, another message arrived on their phone. "The answers you seek will destroy you. Proceed at your own risk." The coordinates from the journal led Alex to an unassuming storage facility on the outskirts of town. The air was heavy with anticipation as they unlocked a small unit, its contents shrouded under dusty tarps and haphazardly stacked boxes. Among the clutter, Alex found a single hard drive marked with a familiar symbol, an interlocking triangle that had appeared in their recovered files. Back home, Alex plugged the drive into their laptop. Files flooded the screen, videos, emails, reports, all painting a disturbing picture. The project Alex had been part of wasn't just about data or algorithms. It was an experimental program designed to predict and influence human behavior on a massive scale. Governments, corporations, and shadowy entities had invested in its success. But the real shock came when Alex found a series of emails addressed to them, sent years ago by someone signed R. The tone was intimate, almost conspiratorial. "Alex, you're the heart of this project. Without you, it fails, but remember, this isn't just science. It's control, and control comes with a cost." The pieces fell into place. The gaps in Alex's memory, the strange behavior of friends and colleagues, it all pointed to one thing: they had been manipulated, not just by the project, but by the people they trusted most. Maya's warning echoed in Alex's mind. "I tried to warn you back then, but Maya hadn't told the whole truth." Among the files was a contract, signed by both Alex and Maya, binding them to secrecy. Maya wasn't just a concerned friend, she had been a collaborator. Before Alex could process the betrayal, their laptop screen flickered. A message appeared: "You're getting too close. We gave you a way out for a reason. Walk away, or we'll make you." The sender was R. Flashbacks surged to the forefront of Alex's mind. Late nights in a sterile lab, heated arguments with Maya, and a moment of desperation, a contract signing, followed by the choice to erase their involvement. The betrayal wasn't just Maya's, it was their own. Twist. Maya's role wasn't just as a collaborator, she had been the one to convince Alex to sign the erasure agreement. Her reasoning: to protect Alex from becoming a scapegoat in case the project's dark truths ever came to light. Cliffhanger. As Alex pieced together the puzzle, their doorbell rang. Through the peephole, they saw Maya, looking both apologetic and terrified. In her hand was a folder labeled "The Final Truth." Alex hesitated before opening the door. Maya stood outside, drenched from the rain, her face a mix of guilt and desperation. In her hand was a folder, thick with papers that seemed to radiate foreboding. "I didn't know where else to go," Maya said, stepping inside. "I've been trying to protect you, Alex, but I can't anymore." Alex crossed their arms, anger and betrayal bubbling to the surface. "Protect me, by lying to me. By pulling me into something I don't even remember agreeing to. Maya's voice trembled. "It wasn't supposed to be like this. You wanted out, Alex. You asked me to help you forget." The words hit like a thunderclap. Alex sank into a chair, trying to reconcile the person they were with the one Maya described. "Why? What was so bad that I wanted to erase it?" Maya opened the folder, revealing detailed reports, photographs, and transcripts. The project wasn't just about prediction, it had been deployed, tested on unsuspecting populations. People's lives were altered, their choices subtly influenced to suit the agendas of powerful backers. "You were one of the lead developers," Maya admitted. "Your work on the algorithm was revolutionary. But when you realized how it was being used, you couldn't live with it. That's when you made the deal to erase your involvement and walk away. I helped you because I thought I was doing the right thing. But they never let either of us go, not really." Alex stared at the documents, their heart pounding. Among the files was evidence that the project was still active. Worse, their old work had been refined and expanded. "I have to stop this," Alex said, standing abruptly. "I can't let it continue." Maya grabbed their arm. "If you go after them, they'll destroy you. Your career, your relationships, your life. They're watching everything." "I've already lost most of it," Alex replied, their voice steady. "What's left to destroy?" Twist. Maya revealed that the key to shutting down the project was a single server located in a heavily guarded facility. The catch: Alex would need to access it using a biometric key. Something tied to the device they couldn't let go of, their own phone. Alex made the decision to sever all ties with technology, including their phone, knowing it meant losing contact with everyone and everything. They prepared for the showdown, packing only the journal, a backup drive with evidence, and a burner phone for emergencies. The facility was as intimidating as Maya described: motion detectors, guards, and cameras everywhere. Using the biometric key, Alex gained entry and navigated the labyrinthine halls to the server room. With trembling hands, Alex initiated the sequence to wipe the project's data. The server's warning flashed across the screen: "This action is irreversible. Confirm deletion." Alex hesitated, knowing the fallout would be immense. But they also knew they couldn't let the project continue. Taking a deep breath, they confirmed the action. Cliffhanger. As the server began its purge, alarms blared. The facility's guards closed in, and Alex realized that walking away from this alive was far from guaranteed. The facility alarms blared, and Alex's heart raced as footsteps echoed through the corridors. The server purge was nearly complete, the screen displaying a countdown that felt like both a lifeline and a ticking time bomb. Alex grabbed the burner phone and journal, slipping into the shadows just as guards stormed into the server room. The adrenaline carried them through a maze of hallways and out an emergency exit, the cold night air biting against their skin. They had destroyed the project, but the cost was steep. Days turned into weeks. Alex had gone completely off the grid, abandoning the digital tools that once defined their life. Their phone, social media accounts, and even their career had been casualties of their mission. They lived quietly in a remote cabin, spending mornings journaling and afternoons hiking in the surrounding woods. The stillness was unfamiliar, but it also brought clarity. One evening, Alex logged onto a public library computer, their first digital interaction since the purge. They uploaded the evidence from the backup drive to an anonymous platform, ensuring the world would know the truth about the project and its manipulative reach. Almost immediately, the story gained traction, sparking outrage and investigations. The fallout was massive. Executives tied to the project were subpoenaed, organizations disavowed involvement, and the world began to question the unchecked power of predictive technology. For the first time in years, Alex felt a spark of hope. Months later, Alex was invited to speak at a conference on ethical technology. Standing before an audience of innovators, activists, and curious onlookers, they recounted their journey, not just the technical aspects, but the personal growth that came from learning to disconnect and rediscover themselves. "I thought I was giving up everything," Alex said, their voice steady. "But in letting go, I found something far more valuable: a connection to what truly matters." The audience erupted in applause, but Alex's attention was drawn to a figure in the back of the room. A stranger wearing a dark coat and a faint, knowing smile. As the crowd dispersed, the stranger slipped a note into Alex's hand before disappearing into the crowd. The note read, "You think it's over, but it's only just begun. Trust no one." Twist, the stranger's handwriting matched the entries in the journal. It wasn't over. This journey had merely scratched the surface of a larger, more sinister network.